This review has been brought to you in part by Main Irish Airsoft.
Hey there, welcome back to Oddy's Airsoft, and here we have yet another sniper rifle. Obviously a bit like Dublin buses, you don't see one for ages, and then you have two in a very short period of time. This sniper rifle is the SnowWolf M24 Soccom. The M24 is going to be very familiar to you because it is a very popular pattern of sniper rifle. There's a lot of M24 type sniper rifles out there. Now the nice thing about this particular sniper rifle is that it comes as a package with everything you see here. Not only did you get the gun, you get the scope, you get the bipod, which is Harris type thing. Also in the box you get a couple of nice manuals, cleaning rod, you get a strap, speed loader, and the tools necessary to put everything together. You get the ubiquitous little bag of BBs as well, which promptly found their way into the bin because I just don't use them. If they're not tagged as a particular brand, I just don't use them. So yeah, I mean, as a package, this is a nice way to get into sniper role. As I said to you in the previous video a few days ago about the Dragunov, I've never played the role of a sniper in Airsoft. So you know, you have to view this review in that light. But yeah, I mean, initial impressions of the gun, I really like it. Again, I think the familiarity thing is probably a big factor because I know what these look like. I've seen them before. So that is a big factor. Now, the gun itself, material-wise, nicely made, well put together. It's a good solid piece. The barrel, nicely anodized. The scope is a basic scope. It's a 3-9 by 40, but you know what? It does exactly what you need it to do. It's got basic crosshairs on it. Doesn't have any mil dot or fancy reticle on it. But you know what? This is aimed at a starter package to get you into the sniper role, and everything does exactly what it's meant to do. Like a lot of similar sniper platforms, this gun, the hop-up, is operated by a lever type mechanism. You push it forward to add hop, you bring it back to remove hop. As one very important point to note, I should have started with this. When you get this gun, it does not come pre-assembled, right? When you take it out of the box, the barrel and trigger assembly are separate to the stock. You need to marry the two together. And the key point about that is there are two screws you need to put in place. There's one located here behind the trigger, and there's one located here between the trigger and the magazine. Now those two screws, although they're the same thread size, are different lengths, and they're very obviously different lengths. It's not just a mil or two in the difference. And they are different lengths because they serve different purposes. Okay, the longer of the two screws goes behind the trigger, okay? And that has to screw up all the way through the stock and into the barrel assembly here to hook everything up. The shorter screw goes in there. If you get these mixed up, okay, you may well possibly be able to get the short screw in there, but if you try to put the long screw in this location, you're going to screw it straight up into the cylinder and you're going to destroy your gun. So please make sure that you read the manual before you try to put this thing together. It's very clear in the manual exactly what you have to do. So short screw here, long screw there. So what do I think of the gun shooting? Overall, I thought it was really comfortable. It handles really well. Something you're not going to be able to see on the camera here is that there's a really nice mottled effect on the stock. Bit of texture, which does help you grip it. I think it is going to be effective in adverse weather conditions. Adjustable bolt on this, so you can extend it to the length you want. I have it set up the way I want it, and of course I set the scope up where I wanted it on the little rails you have there instead of scope mounts, so I can get the necessary eye relief that's comfortable for me, and I'm sure you can do exactly the same thing. The bolt on this is lovely and light. I really like the action. It's light enough that you can use it very quickly while you're still engaged on target. Right? You don't have to disengage from your target if you've missed in the first shot, and it's nice and easy. So you're going to want to know how this thing shoots. Now, like the Dragunov, I fired some test shots. And here we have the target. Again, 25 shots using G&G 0.25 gram BBs. As you can see, most of the shots hit the main target. We've got a few on the periphery here. And strange enough, really weird coincidence, I also had 4 flyers on this test shot, much like I had with the Dragunov. Really odd coincidence. Now, one thing to note on this, the dispersion pattern of the shots, it is a little bit more dispersed than the Dragunov was. I think that's primarily down to the fact that the wind on the day I shot this batch of test shots, it was much more blustery than it was when I shot the Dragunov. Now, I think that's definitely going to be a factor in the dispersion of the shots. Another thing as well, which is definitely going to be a factor, is the fact that the stock barrel in this gun is 6.08 millimeters. Right? That's nowhere near a Type bore. So maybe that's going to be one of the first things you look at upgrading in this gun. But in terms of the way it handles, the way it feels, I was really impressed. Okay, I'm not a sniper, but I do like the gun. It just feels right. You know, it's very difficult to quantify that particular statement, but you know yourself, when you see a gun, when you pick up a gun, you know if it's going to suit you or not. One recommendation I will make, the magazines, you know, standard fare, maybe a little on the plasticky side, so because it only holds sort of 22, 23 BBs, I would recommend you pick up a few spares, because you're going to drop them or lose them, and you know, maybe even break one somewhere along the way. So do make sure you pick up a couple of spare magazines, because you will need them. So overall impressions of the gun, definitely like it. As a starter package, it's a superb package indeed. It comes in at €180, and I think it's pretty good value at that. You know, it saves you the trouble of you know, trying to source a gun, then trying to find a scope, and then trying to find a bipod, etc, etc. So I think it solves an awful lot of problems in one go. If you're in the market for a sniper rifle, maybe you're not fully committed to the idea, but you want to see what the roll is like, I think this is a very good starting point. Certainly with some upgrades, you are going to really narrow in the dispersion of the shots, and you will become more effective. But if you want to take a punt at the sniper roll, this would be a good starting point. So that's it from me. So Oddie's Airsoft out.
Now, just to add a footnote to what Mark has been saying, I have to say thanks again, Mark, for some great reviewing of a couple of pieces over the last while. But on the back of this, I've noticed, and I'm sure a lot of the experienced airsofters out there have noticed, a lot of guys who are getting into airsoft tend to go for a sniper first. Being a sniper in airsoft, especially in the sort of one dual jurisdictions that we're in, sniping is a very it's a tough role to take on, especially when you know you're going into a field full of full auto bandits. It's very hard to keep up with them. The whole point of being a sniper is that you're going to sort of, using stealth, get into a position and be very still, very quiet, and wait for your prey to come into a hitting distance, and then quietly take, you know, pot shots to take out your opponent. I've actually witnessed young guys trying to keep up with the AEG jockeys, running around and firing snipers from the hip. It doesn't work like that. So the point I'm trying to make here is, if you're in the market and you're starting off in airsoft, I wouldn't recommend a sniper. They're great for the back garden for plinking. They are a lot of fun, and for airsoft itself as a game, they do bring a whole new dimension to the game, especially if you're an experienced airsoft and you're looking to sort of change your gameplay slightly. But as an airsoft gun, as a first gun, I would think long and hard before I bought a sniper, because I've watched too many young guys going out with their brand new snipers and trying to field them on the same battleground as most AEGs, and they are completely outgunned and they don't enjoy the game. You can see it on their faces, they're not enjoying the game. So just a kind of heads up, you know, lads, if you're only just getting into this and you're looking at something to buy, I would definitely go for an AEG that gives you full auto capabilities. And then once you've discovered your game, what you like doing and what you don't like doing, maybe pick yourself one of these up so that you could introduce them within the games. You know, if you're out for a day's gaming, you can sort of have 3 or 4 game scenarios and on one of them take out a sniper and try something a bit different. But as I said, just kind of a heads up, because I see so many young guys making the fundamental mistake of buying a sniper and trying to go toe to toe with AEGs and firing them from the hip, and it just doesn't work. So again, thanks to Mark for the review. Thanks to Main Irish Airsoft for giving us this piece for review, and we'll talk soon.